A very good afternoon. The US President is asking India for the supply of an anti-malaria drug called hydroxychloroquine to help in the battle against COVID-19. Now, India imposed a ban on what is being called by some a miracle drug to cure COVID-19 on the 26th of March, though the drug is still being tested. But the President of the United States feels there's no time to wait around as people are dying. To know if hydroxychloroquine is the answer and is it really safe, we have expert doctors joining us. Dr. Velumani, who's the MD and CEO of Thyro Care from Mumbai, and Dr. Rachna Kochheri, she's joining us from Delhi. Dr. Velumani, to you first. The President of the United States says it's worked unbelievably as a powerful drug on malaria, and there's strong signs that it works on this as well. Does it?
In my opinion, it could help because there is nothing else to help, and leaning on that appears to be not wrong. But what and all it can bring in other than helping need to be studied. But when you are stuck with such a New York kind of crisis, I think we must appreciate that and must support. Indian government should support if possible. It's humanitarian grounds.
Right. Dr. Rachna Kochheri, Donald Trump is ignoring experts' opinion and is promoting the use of hydroxychloroquine. How safe is it when it's actually being called a game changer by the President of the US?
I don't think that's completely accurate that way. As the previous doctor just pointed out, and many other international experts also have, that we still don't have the data and studies validating its use for treatment for this coronavirus. As far as your question on safety is concerned, HCQS, one of the chloroquine basically in another form, has been safely used for malaria and many other rheumatological conditions and continues to be used. However, there are a few caveats. Side effects do occur, and because of these, both because of cardiac and other side effects, these should only be given after a prescription. ICMR also has come out with some guidelines for these to be used for inpatient coronavirus patients right now, because we don't, in the absence of any other tried and tested therapies for the coronaviruses. Many other drugs are also under investigation, but I don't think it's fair to say that this is a miracle drug yet.
Right. Doctor, what are the side effects? You did speak about cardiac problems, psychiatric symptoms as well?
Could be, but there are more, there could be mild things, milder forms of skin reaction, which are seen quite commonly, and a dangerous symptom called a prolonged QT interval, which, as I said, is a cardiac symptom.
Right. We have our first caller calling in, Vikas, calling from Hyderabad. Vikas, आपका क्या question है?
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है मैडम कि मैं जैसे मार्केट से सब्जी खरीदता हूँ, उस सब्जी को मैं अपने से कितने देर तक दूर रखूँ, अलग रखूँ, जब तक कोरोना का प्रभाव खत्म हो जाएगा उसके ऊपर, उसके बाद में मैं यूज कर सकूँ बोल के.
Right. One of the frequently asked questions regarding the vegetables. Dr. Velumani, would you like to answer that?
I think that is a higher level of panic to expect the sabji will bring the virus home. But if at all somebody is still concerned, I think one can leave it aside for a day or two and then consume if at all there is a possibility. But I don't think the groceries and the sabji will bring the virus home until otherwise the vendor is already sufficiently infected and if he is touching every vegetable.
Right. Second caller is Divakar calling in from Chennai. Divakar, what can we help you with? Divakar, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, I need a clarification regarding this pneumonia fever and coronavirus, because both the symptoms are same only for pneumonia and coronavirus. Is there any comparison is there?
Right. Dr. Rachna, would you like to answer that?
Yes, I would. So coronavirus in its severe stages does cause a pneumonia. And that is one of the big problems, that it's very hard to differentiate in its early stages from a common cold or a flu, which can also be quite debilitating. And as you said rightly, how to differentiate from a pneumonia, it's very hard to. I think given the current circumstance, I've just heard very recently that Dr. Guleria is saying that we are in stage 2 between 3. There may be very, very early community transmission. That's not verified, but I think that may be the case. Given that that may be the case, if someone is having these symptoms of a cough, fever, and difficulty breathing, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, deep pain chest, any of these, then I think it's best to check in with a healthcare professional. If you're having mild cold type symptoms, it's still safe to stay at home. But if the breathing difficulty comes in, which is also, as the young man suggested, a sign of the pneumonia in combination with the fever and cough, it's best to check in with a healthcare professional.
Right. We have Channa Kumar calling from Bijapur. We've lost him. In fact, we'll get back to him. But, this let's get back to this drug that has not been approved by the FDA yet in the United States to treat COVID-19. But many are calling it a miracle drug. In fact, the United States has stocked up 29 million pills of this drug and is asking India for more. Dr. Velumani?
Yeah. Whether it is a drug for COVID or not has to be established. You can't guess it and you can't tell it, standing in the media and telling to the entire world, I have found a miracle drug. If it works, good. If it works, why it works, we need to do research. In my opinion, it is not COVID drug, but it probably helps the individual not to get into serious modes. Every phase is a serious towards serious mode. So it helps people either moving slow or static, but I don't think it is curing and it is not a COVID drug as far as I have read in the literature.
Right. Dr. Rachna Kochhariya, this question is to you. We just heard the Prime Minister talking about how, one needs to wear a mask when stepping out. How safe is it when you make a mask at home? Does it protect you from the infection, or is it just enough for you not to pass on the infection in case you are infected?
It does not protect you from the infection. I would say that if you are, this mask is recommended technically only for those if you're caring for somebody with symptoms and you're unsure at that point, or you yourself have a cough and respiratory symptoms, you're sneezing, all of that, then a mask. But the mask shouldn't give anyone a false sense of security. It is not protective, but it's just, I would say, I would say it reminds people to be careful. So it's not going to protect you against the virus if somebody has it, but certainly it could be used as a personal sort of prevention measure, reminding you. For me, the use also could be that you're not touching your face then as often enough. Let's say you've had to step out for something essential, and you inadvertently touch your face. Having the mask on your face at that time then is a better option. But it should not, under any circumstance, lull you into a false sense of security. And if you are using one of these homemade face masks, then if it's washable, it needs to be washed. You should have a cycle of 2 or 3. One is being washed and dried. You use the other one. You're still going to take off the mask and wash your hands thoroughly for 20 seconds. Those things cannot be ignored.
Right. Dr. Velumani, any cloth at home can be used to make a mask?
Yeah, this concept of you must wear a mask to step out has come only because for the last 3-4 days, there are debates that this virus is in the air. Earlier it was felt that the droplets of virus falls down within 6 feet distance, it won't be on the air. But slowly there is a fear that the micro particles will be in the air, might remain little longer. And that debate is still not proved, but it is, if it is true, wearing a mask when you step out of home is must.
Right.
Now, to your question, can we make a mask of our own? Very much. You can make a mask of your own. It is only to make sure that nanoparticles don't reach through your nose and mouth to you. But very important is, don't reverse the mask when you use it next time. That is one big mistake people might do, like what Dr. Rachana said.
Right.
Must know how to clean it, how to give some 3-4 in rotation and make sure that it is used. Homemade masks are fair enough to protect you from what comes from air.
Right. We have our next caller calling in, Shankar from Madurai. Shankar, what's your question?
Yes, I'm Shankar from Madurai. I am working in a bank. I also have a chance to work in cash. That time, if I wear a mask, in between we may have to take a cup of tea or snacks. And at that time, how to handle the mask, and if I can reuse it after that, or
Right. In fact, we had even nurses have that problem where they weren't drinking water in the hospitals because they were allowed only one mask per day, and they were fearful that if they took that off, they could not wear it back. So, Dr. Rachana, can you reuse a mask?
Ideally, you should not reuse a mask. And that's why if this young man is, let's say, using a homemade mask, perhaps he could have, 4 or 5 for rotation during his work hours. Maybe he takes 3 breaks, so he could have a set of 3 or 4 masks, one to go home, and definitely wash his hands as soon as he takes the mask off. Then he starts to do other things, cup of tea or whatever he's doing. So yes, ideally, one should not be reusing the same mask.
Right. Dr. Velumani, are the N95 and N99 masks, are they washable?
Now, the ordinary masks are costing 20 rupees maximum, and you can afford to throw. But for somebody who is, middle income, lower income, even that becomes a costly affair to throw. So my advice would be keep 10 masks. It will cost you 200 rupees. And you can wash and use like how you use your socks. But as said earlier, make sure that you are logically giving it sufficient time for it to be free from virus, either by washing, drying, or keeping for longer period.
Right. Our next caller is Naeem from Hyderabad. Naeem, what can we help you with?
Yeah, hi. I just heard somebody asking a question on the vegetables. So the doctor said that we have to leave it for a couple of days and then use it. So my question is, can we just not wash it thoroughly and start, using it?
Right. Dr. Rachana, would you like to answer that?
Yeah, I think that's fine as well. And to be extra careful, again, I know we're also all trying to conserve water. Maybe a couple of washes, and for certain large vegetables where perhaps you're going to use the skin or such, mild soapy water also might be useful if you're highly suspicious. But I don't think we're at that point, as Dr. Velu said yet. I think thorough washing with water that you're going to anyway cook the vegetables would be fine. And if it's something raw that you're going to eat, then making sure that perhaps the solution is a bit of a soapy solution initially, and then you can rinse it out, because soap does attack the wall of the virus.
Right. Ankur calling in from Noida. Ankur, what queries do you have?
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I have a question regarding hydroxychloroquine.
Right.
My son is G6PD deficient, and as far as I know, malarial drugs are not recommended for G6PD patients. So, but I've been Googling, and they say hydroxychloroquine may be safe for G6PD patients. So I want some suggestions from you on this.
Right. Dr. Velumani, would you like to answer that?
I will leave it to Dr. Rachana.
Some of the information that I've read, and I can get back to you on this one, because I don't want this to be, it is a serious matter. But some of the information that I've read, that HCQS may be safe for G6PD patients. But offline, I'd be happy to get back with a few more details for you.
Right. B.V. Prasad calling in as well. We'll just have him in a minute. But yes, we still need a lot more study on whether that drug should be used, because it's not an over-the-counter drug that's available. So a lot of a study needs to go into to find out if it actually works in the case of COVID-19. Now, Dr. Velumani, we were talking about masks and how safe it is. Can masks in the long run also cause breathing problems?
No, I think there is a challenge. Ordinary masks are not producing breathing challenge as much as N95. Now N95 doesn't allow virus to come in, and it will not allow air to come in easily. So the more you look towards safety side, the less of available air for you. You need to balance also. I have a reason to believe as long as a fair size of or fair thickness of mask is there, you will be safe as well as you will be comfortable.
Right. Our caller BB Prasad is now joining us from Noida. BB Prasad, what can we help you with?
I have a question that as per the WHO guidelines, we should do the more tests. But there is in our country, we are not able to do the more tests because of we have the less number of labs or we have the shortage of the kits. So what I have learned that in Germany, they do the pooling test. Pooling test means that samples can be a group of people, like the 20 people can be taken in one sample. And if they are cleared, their test is negative, then they all are cleared. And if it is positive, then again, of course, they have to do the another test. So is it possible in our country? Can we do like this? So that is my question.
Dr. Rachna?
I've also read these reports, and I commend you on keeping a close watch on what's going on around the world. My own belief is that we have some very, very smart people making decisions up top, whether it's the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare or AIIMS Delhi with Dr. Guleria under the leadership of the Prime Minister. I'm sure they're looking at all these strategies, and this one sounds like a very sound one going into the next phase of whatever the next phase is decided upon by the powers that be. I'm hopeful that they would be using strategies such as this.
Right. Doctor, the BCG injections are now in fact being used. They're saying that it actually helps in reducing the intensity if you have the coronavirus. Is that true, Dr. Vellamani?
Yeah, first let me answer to my question. A question which I love to answer was the previous question in my way. It is pooling, not fooling. And pooling is a wonderful method of cutting down the cost of the raw material in testing. Today the testing is blocked because the cost is too high, government cannot afford and private people also cannot afford. So there is no choice other than reviewing this pooling method as a method for screening, and it can be scaled up. And it is actively perused by government also, and they have to give proper guidelines, and all can wait till the guidelines come. Coming to the question of BCG, is that right?
Right.
Now the BCG appears to be giving an advantage, a blessing in disguise, and the countries which did not have the scheme appear to be more suffering than the countries which had a very committed BCG scheme is appearing to have a lesser death rate. But can now giving a BCG injection help? I don't think that is right. I think it is all we have inherited over the last few decades of our kind of commitment to that. If that is true, which appears to be true also, we are going to have less number of deaths in the number of infected.
Right. Our next caller calling in Johnson from Hyderabad. Johnson, what can we help you with?
Hello. Yes, I have seen. I have a neighbor. They are very, very a bit religious kinds of stuff, and उसके घर वाले ना बोल रहे थे कि गौमूत्र kinds of stuff पी लीजिए. Hello.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I mean, गौमूत्र पिए तो कोरोना नहीं आता है करके.
Okay.
I've also seen there are like what of WhatsApp videos have been forwarded. Circulated and viral, and I also seen some of the MPs have telling that drinking Gomutra will also provide you from getting COVID-19.
Right, Dr. Vellamani, would you like to answer that?
इस एनवायरमेंट में दो ही दुश्मन है, एक पड़ोसी है, दूसरा व्हाट्सएप है. तो दोनों को अब जरा ज्यादा ध्यान मत दे। जो भी सरकार सूचित करते हैं, जो भी WHO बोलते हैं, उस पर ध्यान दीजिएगा। पड़ोसी का बातों में आप शायद ज्यादा फंसने के लिए भी संभावना है।
Right. Our next caller is Sumanto calling from Agartala. Sumanto, what's your question? We've lost the line with Sumanto. We'll be back. We'll have her back on the line. But doctor, at the moment, there are delivery services, especially for people who live alone and don't have access to food. So they're relying on Zomato, on Swiggy, all these delivery boys who come to bring the food, to people. What kind of precautions can they take?
I'm assuming you're addressing to me.
Yes, yes, Dr. Rachna.
So I think safe to say the similar kind of protection we've talked about. So if you kind of make a rule, anything that's coming from the outside, so delivery boys probably are going to be delivering in a bag or a box, and have contact as minimum as possible. Pay online if that's possible for you, or leave cash outside, exact change if that is possible. Second thing is receive the package perhaps on a doorstep if you can. Again, human to human contact, we're all doing it. That's the social isolation we're in. So this is not discriminatory, it's just obeying the same laws. Take the package in, remove the packaging, put it in your recycle bin or whatever you're using. And if you've designated a separate bin or separate bag for putting all kinds of possibly infected waste, if you're using masks or a glove at home, then they also go in that. And later that can be sealed and kept for about 2 to 3 days before you give it away to your trash collection agency. And then you can safely take the food out, after which you wash your hands and then deal with the food that you've ordered.
Right. We have Sumanto now back with us on the phone line from Agartala. Sumanto, what's your question?
My question is to physician madam, is that when you talk about the hydroxychloroquine, my question is whether this can be used as a prophylaxis, preventive, or this has been whatever the recommendation has came from outside India. This is for the treatment of this coronavirus. If it is being recommended for prophylaxis, then we have seen earlier that this malarial drug, usually people coming with a fever, the doctor used to prescribe chloroquine for a preventive measure. Now, whether this has also been designed or as advised, maybe not being authorized by many, but as it appears to be, whether it is going to be a preventive measure or it is going to be a treatment. One, and the second part is to the MD CEO, Thyrocare, whether from people staying at the long distance like Agartala, deliberately come to your center. How many kits do you have? People in Agartala, we have 30 lakhs of people. Do you have that much of kit along with you to test, giving the facility of testing and to get clearance? And what is the sensitivity rate? Like on the first day, if I test, whether I am going to get that result or not? That is my question.
Right. Firstly, Dr. Velumani, let's get to the first part of the question. Is it helpful in the prevention or the cure as far as hydroxychloroquine is concerned?
I leave this question to the physician. I am a technical man. Let me attend to the second question.
Yeah. Sorry. So I'll address the first one.
Right.
You asked about the use of chloroquine prophylactically.
Would that help in the prevention or the cure?
Sorry?
Would that be helpful in the prevention or the cure?
Yeah. Right now, I would again like to reiterate that we don't have the required studies to validate its use either for prevention right now or for therapy. We don't have the studies. So I would caution against that. We have some guideline from ICMR to use it for inpatients. So it does need to be conserved in the absence of any other therapies that are known to be effective. We do need to conserve. So definitely not for prophylactic for the general population. And I would caution again saying that in the coming weeks and months, there may be many such things that are thrown at us. And we always have to remember that drugs, when they get approved for either prevention or treatment, there's a rigorous testing. Now, for many of these, this testing has been expedited by FDA and other bodies given the current crisis we're in. So let's wait for some of those early results. We don't have the data yet to say that it can be used for prophylaxis.
Thank you so much, doctors, for joining us. Health experts say that the data is extremely limited and that more studies required of hydroxychloroquine to know whether it's effective against the coronavirus. With that, it's a wrap on this bulletin. We'll get you lots more. Stay with us.